Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices and Hot Topics. But before we get to our hot topic today, I'm going to read statistics each week until they do something about the bombing and killing in the Palestinian area of in Gaza. So for this week, here are the statistics. The death toll, the Gaza Strip has reached 7,703, including 1,863 women, 3,195 children. The United Nations officials claim the real number of casualties is likely significantly higher due to the number of dead bodies buried in the rubble and they can't get to it. And that's shameful. That's no longer getting rid of the Hamas. That's massacre. And of course, we as Black people understand the tragedy of massacre. So, hot topic today: has Minister Louis Farrakhan declared war against ADT with his $5 billion lawsuit. So, open it up. Y'all have it.
When I heard about the lawsuit, I have to agree with Minister Farrakhan in that not everything we say and or do is anti-Semitic. And it's getting down to where we're having to watch what we say, how we say it, when we say it, to where that tag is not put on you. Give me a case in point. Greta Thunberg, who was a young, white young girl who was an environmentalist. Now, she has autism. And a lot of times, autistic kids have to have some type of sensory tool around them just to help them function. But her sensory tool is an octopus. And so she put up a picture where she was pro-Palestinian. She and some friends were really, showing where they stood. And in the background was this octopus stuffed animal. You say, well, Chad, what's the deal with the octopus? Well, she got called anti-Semitic, not so much because of the posters they were holding, it's because of this octopus. So Candace Owens, I don't always agree with what she says, but there's a lot of things I do agree with. So she says, what's the deal with this octopus? So she went back and went to the Jewish encyclopedia to find out about, is an octopus anti-Semitic? What's the deal? And it turns out that in 1938, a political cartoonist put an octopus on top of one of the president's head because they were getting ready to try to colonize or take over the world. And the Jews saw that as being anti-Semitic. So Greta had to pull down her Twitter post or Instagram post because of the perception that she was being anti-Semitic. Not that she needed the octopus stuffed animal for her own personal needs, was the ideal that this octopus is anti-Semitic. So the whole thing here is just becoming a ridiculousness. We're becoming ridiculous using this word for any and everything.
Yeah, but come on. We do the same thing. We do the very same thing. Anyone say anything negative about us, we call them racist.
But we ain't got an anti-defamation league.
Well, it doesn't matter.
We can say anything we want. Yeah, it does matter.
No, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing. If somebody says something, oh, you're racist. Oh, you're racist. And so
we have no power.
The same thing. I'm not talking about power.
Yeah, but you're saying
I'm talking about what happens. I'm not talking about power.
Lord Jesus,
and a real slight.
help me.
And so, there's a difference between a perceived slight and a real slight.
Oh, so you're gonna make those decisions now?
I mean, if somebody walks up to me and calls me an N-word, then that's a real slight. But if I have an octopus in my background, that's a perceived slight. So there is a difference. So I mean, I'm not gonna play the tragedy game or the sympathy game because they can't play that game with us. And so, but they have used that over and over and over and over again as a tool.
We use it.
No,
We use it as a
Well, we
tool.
may use it as
our,
a tool.
our suffering is real.
We may use it as a tool, but the phrase anti-Semitic is getting people fired from jobs, or they're being hindered from getting jobs, and the whole thing. We have a whole lot of racist folks, but it doesn't necessarily prevent them from getting a job.
Oh, I remember just recently, some white guy made a statement, and we said that's racist, and they fired him. They fired him. How about the guy, the poet here, who used the
N-word, the Mayate.
yeah,
what he
where
said,
they
which is-
fired him.
He
They
should
fired him. Well, oh, he should be, but on the other hand, it shouldn't be.
Because he
Come
used
on,
the he
you
used
guys, be
he
fair,
used
you
the
know,
term
be fair.
Mayate and Gabachos,
Be fair.
which is he used the N-word in a poem. You can't be the poet laureate of anywhere and using the N-word. That's just simple. But
my point is, we do the same thing.
my point is though, you can't go and take someone's land.
Now you're going to say, now I'm not talking
I'm
about
saying
that, Caleb.
Well, it's the same thing.
Mr.
Because if you're gonna go, if
Encyclopedia,
you're
I'm
gonna
not
be
talking
no.
about that.
If you're
I
gonna
am
go
not
and you're
talking-
gonna take a
no,
person's land
I am not
and
talking
you're
about-
going to
I'm talking
abuse
about
them for
terminology.
75 years.
No,
But then
you
when
got no-
somebody
you
when
got no
somebody
difference
points
with
it
me on
out,
that.
you run for cover and say, "Oh my God, you're anti-Semitic." You know what I mean? The
Caleb,
truth can't
you
be
took this,
anti-Semitic.
you know what you did? You took this to a different level. Okay, no one is going to argue on this panel that what's happened to the Palestinians losing their land is good. We all agree with that. We were talking about Minister
Louis
I guess.
Farrakhan.
So,
going
but
after
what I'm saying is, man,
ADT.
they use this as a tool.
We use it as a tool.
I don't see us using
In
it.
1993,
Mm-hmm.
they're tearing into Clarence Thomas
Mm-hmm.
because of the way he treated Anita Hill. What he said?
Mhm.
This is a modern day lynching.
He used that word.
Well, yeah,
He used
did.
it. That's a personal person using that as cover for his misogyny.
Well, come on, it's the same thing.
It's not the
It
same
is the
thing.
same thing.
He's a misogynist.
He uses something that's happened to us and is a negative in order to go after the Senate hearing. Okay.
No, but he used that as personal cover. I can't walk into the store and steal something and then walk out and get mad because they call me a thief. You know what I mean? I can't. The truth is the truth, and so they use that over and over and over again. As
Okay,
cover.
let's go there. Let's go. Truth is the truth. Have people used targeted Jews in a negative way?
Their own people.
I'm not talking. No, that's the way around it, Caleb. You're being
No,
sneaky
I'm not.
here. Yeah, you're being sneaky here.
No, I'm not.
Have other people used negative comments about Jews in the
Yeah,
past?
their own people. That's why they ended up.
I'm not talking about their own people. Don't go there. Have other than, let me put it this way, other than the Jews,
Yes.
have other people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Europeans use it all the time. That's how they ended up in Palestine. The Europeans ran them out of Europe, so that's how they ended up in Palestine. So yeah, white folks are the most anti-Semitic people in the world. White folks. That's how they ended up where they are.
Let me say this to you. Black people have never been in a powerful situation to be able to say, even if we called you a racist, to be able to do anything. And those examples that you gave are only people who have sympathized with us and maybe decided to team with us. When the anti-defamation calls you anti-Semitic, they have the ability to keep you off of TV, keep you off of radio, take away your rights to work, okay? And the list goes on. We don't have any of those things to be able to do.
Case in point, Kyrie Irving.
Right.
I mean, all he did was just post Hebrews to Negroes on his Instagram account, and it just kind of went downhill from there. Where they wanted him to apologize.
Let me say this.
The Jews have a right to be sensitive as a result of the Holocaust.
Yes.
We ain't do it to
Caleb
them.
said no.
We ain't do it to them.
That's not what I asked you.
No.
You
No,
like
no.
to skirt around things.
I'm not skirting around.
Yeah,
So
you
here's
are.
the deal. Here's the okay. So Farrakhan found a $4.8 billion lawsuit.
Billion, right?
Was it
Billion.
$4.8
billion.
billion lawsuit against I think it was the ADL and the
Right.
what was the
Anti-Defamation League.
yeah, the ADL, and it was it the Wiseman or whatever. And so they're ignoring the lawsuit. They're saying it means nothing. Look at Farrakhan's own words in the past and blah blah blah. So they're kind of laughing at it and ignoring it, right? So what Farrakhan is saying is that you've taken these words, you've taken the word anti-Semitism, and you are stifling my free speech. Is basically what the lawsuit about.
Yep.
That's what Farrakhan is saying. Okay. Now, has Farrakhan made comments in the past that have been anti-Semitic or perceived as anti-Semitic? Yes. We're all adults. Yes. You know what I mean? Yes, he has.
I'm surprised that you all would even admit that.
No. I mean,
Wow.
again, the
Major
truth.
breakthrough.
The truth is the truth.
And don't say y'all, because I ain't said nothing.
Has the comments been anti-Semitic? Yes, they can be perceived as being anti-Semitic. You know what I mean? Some of the stuff he said, some of the comparisons that he's made, and so yes. Now, you can't have it both ways, right? You can't claim free speech when it comes to Trump and his Twitter account, but deny free speech when it comes to Farrakhan and his speeches. And so people want to have it both ways when it comes to Black folks in general. They can't have it both ways.
Well, you know, he's doing what he can do. That's suing them. Okay? So he's saying, I'm suing you for what you perceive as a negative. It has nothing to do with freedom of speech. It just has to do with how somebody perceives he's been targeted as being anti-Semitic. Let me ask you something. We have so much negative going on. I mean, we got Jews killing Palestinians, Palestinians killing Jews. We got Russians killing Ukrainians. We got fights on Capitol Hill. Everything is negative. Wouldn't it have made more sense for Farrakhan to just say, hey, Jews, let's sit down?
Wait a minute. Now, let me get the. Okay.
I already know where Chris is going.
I'm getting ready.
Well, he just really set me off right there.
I was getting ready to make a very profound point. I mean, profound.
All right, let's go.
Deep.
I'm ready.
You made me forget it.
We ready for the deep, profound.
Well, he made me forget it. So go ahead.
Look, if I would encourage everyone, and especially our viewers and everyone on this panel, to read the lawsuit. It can be downloaded, and as we speak right now, 72 pages. I have finished probably the first 30. And I would like to say that I think it's a very good chronological account of what has happened between how the Nation of Islam started, what's happened to them. It's got quotes in it where the Jewish community has called him or other people anti-Semites. He said Jesse Jackson was running for president.
He said, "I me down."
Well, I ain't got to that part yet, but yes, he did say Jaime Town. But the point is that when he was running, they said, he went to talk to Farrakhan. And the Jews said, well, you can't talk to Farrakhan because he's this, that, and the other. And Farrakhan has said, if there's anything that I have said that is incorrect, prove it to me. He says, I will prove to you what I'm saying about you. He said, but we've always asked to be able, the question that you just said, to be able to sit down and talk. He said, we've continued to do that. He said, and you have refused, just like Caleb was saying, they laughed at the lawsuit. They haven't done anything. So we don't have, as Black folks, an anti-defamation league. Not even the NAACP will look at us and defend us individually, like the Kyrie Irving situation or the Kanye West situation. But those events did happen. But the Anti-Defamation League then came and said these people were anti-Semitic and made them bow down and kiss their ring if they wanted to continue to keep working.
Okay.
See, my problem with them is that
With who?
The Jews.
He wants you to say it.
My problem with them is that they always want to start from the point where they're offended. They want to start with a point where somebody punches them back in the nose, but they don't never want to start from the point of the original offense. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the question is, did Muslims declare war on Jews, or did Jews declare war on Muslims first?
Okay,
That's the problem.
What's your answer?
My answer, the answer is obvious. They took the folks' land. I mean,
wait a minute. The answer's not obvious. I wouldn't ask you to.
No, you infiltrated people's land. You took people's land. You expelled 800,000 people. You committed genocide for decades. And so yeah, is a person who is a Muslim, are they gonna feel a certain type of way? Yes. That's obvious. You know what I mean? You subjected a people constantly to apartheid, through genocide. They constantly commit war crimes. So yeah, and so they want to start at the point where the latest incident happened and said, "Oh my God, look at us! We're you know what I mean? They're attacking us, and we have the right to defend ourselves." You can't start at that point. You have to go back to 1948, where you took somebody's land and declared it yours, and then made war, and then ever since you displaced millions of people. You have to start at that point. You can't start at the point where people are fighting back. They always want to start at the point where people are fighting back.
Well, they didn't take United States, Britain under forgotten.
No, they
Act or
infiltrated.
something. They gave them that land.
They infiltrated that land. There were Jews, there were Palestinian Jews who were there living in peace with Palestinian Muslims, and had been that way forever. And so no, the Europeans infiltrated and took that land. They infiltrated over. That was always a plan. That was always the plot. They infiltrated over decades until finally they had enough strength to take that land away from its rightful owners. So they want to start the argument after the people have been fighting back.
Okay.
That's not where you start.
Okay. Let's close out. Let's start right here, Chris. You go ahead.
I would just like to reiterate that I think that the suit that Farrakhan has filed and the Nation of Islam, I shouldn't say Farrakhan, but the Nation of Islam that they have filed, I think if for no other reason for us as people, whether you're black, white, Jewish, or Protestant, to all be able to look at it and read it and find out what they are saying. Do not make comments on it until you do that.
You read it.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Today's show was an eye opener for Fred in terms of voucher systems.
Yeah.
And this is a thing that's been going on for a long time. What we didn't mention was how would this impact military installations, where you do have families who live on these military installations who have full access to the schools, but military people who live off base do not. So I almost suspect that the schools on the military installations will be benefactors of this voucher system.
Okay.
So
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get jumped on, but that's okay. Because hey, look, I've always been against Robin Hood. I just have. I went to school. My wife went to school, and we work hard to live where we live and have what we have. And so there's a reason I put my kids into a certain district. I want them to have a certain education, and I don't want my tax dollars. I want my tax dollars going to my kids. I work hard for that. So that's my deal with that. I've never been for Robin Hood. The other thing, as far as the Farrakhan lawsuit, I'm for it. I want to see how these people decide to backtrack when it comes to their arguments over free speech. They want free speech when it comes to white folks, but free speech is something that's denied to black and brown folks. And so I want to see how they get around, backtrack and get around this argument. So.
Okay. Good show. Good show. It was an exciting show. And so we will be back next week with just as an exciting show. In the meantime, this is Contemporary Black Voices telling our story, our way.